Fantastic. Welcome to our Year 5 welcome meeting. It's lovely to meet you if I haven't met you before, but also welcome back our Year 4 families from last year as well. We always get incredibly excited at this time of year. It's always exciting to get started again, and we're very much looking forward to meeting your child to start that 11 plus journey again with them. One of the things that certainly our summer, over the summer months, we've been preparing our current cohort and getting them ready for their exams in the next couple of weeks. We feel they're ready, they're confident in their abilities. We, of course, wish them all the best, but they certainly have worked hard and attending various mock exams, revision camps, sort of keeping that continuity going since our course ended in July. So yeah, we do wish them well. We hope they are successful, but hopefully their journey has been an enjoyable one, whatever the outcome. And that's important to us as well, that we know that the 11 plus is a challenging test, a challenging exam, hence the need to prepare, but also we hope it's also benefited them in their own schooling as well. Very much the objective of this evening is to go through the course, talk to you about the structure, answer any questions that you may have. I will ask, please, that the questions are just asked at the end of the presentation. So you can do that in multiple ways. You can unmute yourself if you want to, or you can just type a question in the chat. Would ask you though, please, to remain muted during the presentation, so I don't get lots of background noise, easier for me to concentrate, but also to enable everyone else to be able to hear and listen properly. So first of all, I am just going to share a video with you. This is one that is on our homepage, but it gives you a little bit of a nice intro into what Teacher Right is all about.
My name's Cavan and I come to Teacher Right to help me with my 11 plus exams.
Coming here has helped me with my maths and English and also doing my verbal and non-verbal reasoning.
I find it fun. It helps us with different teaching techniques. It just makes it more interesting and helps a lot more people concentrate.
I like Teach It Right because there is a personal service to both parents and students. My son really enjoys the classes.
In a class at school, children are one of about 30, but at Teach It Right, they are in a much smaller group of approximately 10 children.
Children can obviously work on their own, but they can do interactive activities with each other as pair work, or obviously in group work as well.
We're also able to spend a lot more time with them, helping them in problem areas. We know what their weaknesses are.
Even though it's group tuition, we want to individualise the tuition as much as possible.
All the tutors are qualified teachers and we have experience within normal classroom settings as well.
I think the teachers are nice. They'd always help you and ask you what topics you're struggling on.
We use a complete range of resources, both for kind of physical games and things, but the books themselves are really good because they cover all of the question types that we've seen on the 11 plus. Some of the books Teach It Right actually produce themselves, and a lot of the question types that are in there are things that we know have been on the 11 plus before.
We also play games with the children, educational games to reinforce the topics that we're working on.
But there's no pressure on the children and they are able to work at their own pace.
We also recognise that it's a parental journey as well. We support our parents along the way with the 11 plus, and we also give them knowledge as well so they can help their children at school.
As a parent, we just have to make sure that they do their homework about 2 to 3 hours a week, and we can spread it out like over the week, and it covers all 4 subjects. So it kind of just slots in and it doesn't overwhelm him.
We have a token system at Teach It Right, and we feel that if our kids are going to work hard, it's only fair that we reward them.
I've got quite a lot, so I think I'm doing well.
The support that they've given my son has been really valuable.
I feel like I've got quite a good chance to get through.
Teach It Right has helped me become one of the top students in the school.
And with that support that Teach It Right gives both parents and children, I would definitely recommend it.
Thank you very much for watching that video. I hope you could hear it and see it okay. If you did sort of join partway through that, then there's also Just another video popping in there from Luke. We do various videos, which we'll talk to you about tonight as well, about sort of homework review videos and things like that. But yeah, if you didn't have an opportunity to watch that video, do go on to our Teach It Right website and you'll be able to see it on the homepage. What I'm going to do now is obviously share a series of slides with you and talk to you about the course structure. For some of you that have been with us in year 4, then I'm sure a lot of the processes and things will remain very similar, but there are some changes, there are some additions, hopefully all very beneficial changes to the course that will support your child, and hopefully you'll find it informative. So just going to share my screen with you again. Hopefully you'll be able to see this okay. And we'll go through, as I say, a series of slides with you. So first thing to talk to you about is an infographic, which just highlights some statistics. We have been incredibly proud of our results over the course of Teach It Right, and we started back in a very small school in Slough in 2006. And I think we estimated the other day, we reckon we've supported about 10,000 pupils, not only for grammar school entry, but also for independent schools as well. But last year, in terms of our 11 plus results, then we achieved 82%. Now, there are a few caveats to that, and I think it's important to mention those. Firstly, children have to be with us for a year or more. We do get phone calls in July and August about supporting children for a September exam. We will help you and we will give you that support, but we don't make that part of our sort of statistics. We think that in order to ensure we cover all the curriculum, make sure that we have being able to get through all the content, we need at least a year to do that. And I think it's important to recognise that a lot of the subjects that we teach are not really taught within children's mainstream education, and things like verbal, non-verbal are not really part of it. And also, when you look at things like maths and English, yes, I'm sure they'll be doing it at school, but not to the level or the degree that we actually need it for something like the 11 plus. The other thing to point out as well is that the pass mark for the 11 plus, if we look at something like the Slough Consortium, for example, is 111. Now, the majority of the children that have passed that will get hopefully a place in a grammar school. However, if they are just over that mark, so say 111, 112, they may not actually get a place in that grammar school, because for the Slough Consortium, it's a ranking system and they may cut it off at a certain point. One interesting change in actual fact is Upton Court Grammar used to take from 121. That has become or has been removed for this year, and actually it's 111 as well. So it's sort of a blanket standardisation for the Slough system. If we look at Buckinghamshire, 121 is the pass mark, and in actual fact, if you do achieve 121, you are very likely to get a place in a grammar school. Not always your first choice, but certainly you will probably get a place in one of those 13 grammar schools. We also probably have a number of families here who have children going for some of the Reading schools. So Reading Boys, we'll talk a little bit about Reading Boys tonight in terms of the differences, but also Kendrick School as well, which is currently under GL assessment, like Buckinghamshire and like Slough. Now, those things can change, exam boards can change and vary, but we hope certainly for your child taking their exams next September that it will remain the same. Now, if those changes do happen, if a new exam board comes in and wins tender, that change is generally made around March time. So we will have our finger on the pulse, and of course, if there is any changes, we will let you know and inform you. Also on this screen, it does mention sort of how many tutors we have, and we're about 25 strong. As I say, some of which are in this call tonight, which is lovely. And they are amazing individuals, very, very inspirational, and certainly will give your child the best possible chance of success. And I think certainly what is very, very important to me is that the children want to come along. They want to come to the lessons. They enjoy coming along. And that's really important, because a child who's enthused is generally going to do far better than a child who kind of resents it and doesn't want to do it. So I think part of what we do is all about engaging students, and certainly our team of tutors who do a wonderful job will engage your child, is no doubt. We Go across about 5 different counties. I've obviously mentioned Berkshire, Buckinghamshire. We do some work in Surrey and a little bit of Hampshire as well. And we have 16 centres that go across the different locations. We hope it's convenient for you. We hope it's potentially, it could even be a school that your child attends. But we have made sure that those locations are easily accessible, but also have nice facilities within them as well. Nice airy classrooms, and that's important as well, that your child feels comfortable and also safe within those environments. And we supported last year around 400 pupils for the 11 plus and independent school entry. And we have very strong numbers again this year, but we have maintained, which I think is really important, small group sizes as well, so your child gets lots of individual support. You know, I don't want it to be like a school setting where there could be 25 or 30 pupils. It's not like that at all. We have very small group sizes so we can get to know your child. We hope you know that you're in good hands. We have won a series of awards over the last few years, and one of the most sort of prestigious ones was the most trusted 11 plus tuition company in 2024. Often with a lot of the awards we've actually gained have actually been parentally nominated. So we're very proud of that. We also know that we need to improve things and develop things as we go along, and certainly this year is no different. We've made alterations to our course, hopefully for the better, but also being aware of what content comes up every year so we can adapt our course accordingly. And that is important, that certainly for this year, the children taking the exam, we will get feedback, we will understand a little bit more about what the test involved, and that then informs us year to year. And that's important, because what you don't want to be doing is going for support which is potentially teaching the wrong exam board. I did hear of a bit of a horror story last year where one company was doing a CEM syllabus, but CEM is a bit of a thing of the past now because they only do online tuition, online exams rather than doing written papers, which GL do. So it is important that, of course, you're marrying up that support with the right exam board. And for the majority of you, apart from Reading Boys, it will be a GL assessment exam. We're pretty certain of that. What we're also very proud of is actually winning a number of awards through our materials as well. So our Collins books, and we've produced a number of books with Collins, and we will be using those throughout the course, and they are certainly brilliant books that your child will be using, not only within the lessons, but also at home as well. We are also Ofsted registered as well, and that's a choice that we make as a company to do that. So it allows us to take things like childcare vouchers. Because we actually register each of our locations separately, we actually had 4 inspections last year, all of which were compliant, I'm pleased to tell you. We are not judged. It's not like a school inspection, but what we do need to be is compliant and ensure that we're following all of the different policies such as safeguarding, etc., DBS checks, and I'm pleased to say that we did pass all of those with flying colours, and certainly a lot of the inspectors were, I think, very blown away actually by our organisation and our communication with you as parents, and we do know how important that is, that we are going to be in regular contact with you, whether that's through parent meetings, whether that's in the centres, and please do engage with us in that sense, that we want to know what you need support with, what your child maybe is finding a little bit more difficult, what do they need to continually work on. And I'm sure as we go through the year, there'll be lots of opportunities for you to ask those questions around how best to support your child at home. So some course information. Now, again, this may be fairly familiar to you if you were with us last year in year 4, but if you are new to us, then certainly this may be a few things that we just need to ensure that you're aware of. So I think we'll start by just talking about some of the resources that will be given out. We're very excited to be going back from tomorrow, starting our lessons for the new academic year with year 5. So your child will get a Teach It Right bag. Maybe that their bag from last year is fine and it's sturdy enough and there's no ripped zips or anything like that, but your child will have a bag obviously, and if it is broken from last year, just let us know. Also in regards to jotter books, spelling books, word and meaning books, useful word lists, And of course, all the books for the new block. And what we tend to find as well is that with the books, they'll be very clearly labelled. So the children need to write all their names on them, making sure, of course, that if there is any sort of collection of the books at all, then we know exactly who to give them back to. Also, if they are left in the classroom, and I think generally children are very good with that. They generally remember to take all their books with them. But because they all look the same, we do need to make sure they're labelled clearly. A homework overview will be given as well, and this will indicate, and I'll talk a bit more about that later, but exactly what the homework involves. There will also be something called an online tracker, which again I'll explain a little bit more about later. But again, children will need to be really well organised, make sure they've got everything that they need. And I think that's a big part of our tuition centres, that there is an element of independence that children need to have, particularly now they're in year 5, getting older. I'm sure going back to school they felt more grown up now that they've gone into year 5, but an element of independence, that they know that they've got everything they need, and do try and I think as a parent you also need to make sure that they're taking responsibility for what they need to bring along to the sessions, that they've got a pencil, they've got a dictionary, they've got all the things that they need to bring along. So our course structure, and this is obviously particularly pertinent for those people who have not been with us before. So we work in 6 weeks sort of blocks, and our first block will be verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning. But as you can see in brackets there, creative writing for Reading will be what will replace non-verbal. So if you are going for Reading Boys, you don't need to do non-verbal reasoning. You will be doing a creative writing lesson rather than non-verbal reasoning. So we're looking forward to covering that. And of course, the next block will be English and maths. And then it sort of alternates back to verbal or non-verbal, or verbal and creative writing for Reading Boys. And that enables us to repeat things. I would worry if in a 2-hour period you're trying to do 4 different subjects. I don't think that's very wise. I think it's all about making sure that the children have a solid foundation in all those topics and they have a good understanding of what to do. Hence the reason we come back to topics again. And what we ensure across the year is that we cover the syllabus. And what you might find, and particularly in maths, there will be some things we will be teaching the children that they haven't done at school. And that's fine. That is just the nature of the 11+. But when I think of things like algebra or ratio or topics that are a bit more meaty, they probably will not cover that until year 6 or beyond. And that's really important to realise, because Teach It Right may well be the first I suppose organisation, if you like, to actually be teaching those concepts to the children. So we go with baby steps in that respect, make sure they have a really good solid understanding of what they're doing. Every 6 weeks we actually do an assessment, and the assessment is to ensure that children have an opportunity to be tested on what they've covered in the previous weeks. And then on the student portal, and we'll talk a bit more about that in a moment, is the online feedback. Now, again, if you were with us last year, you'll know to go onto the student portal to see your child's report and get an understanding of how they're getting on. Well, that's no different than when they're in year 5. There will be an opportunity for you to go on there, and the tutors are brilliant at putting all the feedback on there so you can see how your child is getting on. Every week they will do a spelling test, and that will usually happen at the beginning of each lesson, but spellings are important, and certainly under the English element, children have to spot spelling mistakes. So developing their spelling knowledge is really key. And if I can ask all parents, please, to ensure that you do give your child an opportunity during the week to learn their spellings. We do hear comments sometimes like, oh, I don't need to learn those, I do spellings at school. But actually what we tend to find is the spellings we're doing with them, again, slightly more advanced, but words that we know could come up in the 11+. So please, please do encourage them to learn their spellings, whether it be look right, cover check, or whatever process they want, but it is about learning those words and how to spell them. I'd also add not only how to spell them, but also a case of knowing their meanings as well. Really, really important. So do ensure that that happens. At the bottom of that slide, it also talks about group huddles. Now, again, if you were with us last year, you'll be familiar with the format that after the lesson, the tutor will come out and talk to you about what the children have been doing, but also to tell you potentially areas they need to work on and relay important messages. They are not very long, they're about 2-3 minutes long, and the tutors find them incredibly beneficial. What I would say, please, is don't just wait in your car for your child to come back to you. Get out of your car, come and engage with the tutor, get to know them, get to understand what the children have been doing, because the more you're on side with the process of the 11 plus, the better, because children will like that, because they'll know that you're also engaged in it. You want your child, of course, to do as well as possible, but also the tutors get the opportunity to give you some really good feedback on a weekly basis. We, of course, will be doing our parent meetings. They are generally over Zoom. That's an opportunity, again, for you to talk to the tutors about how your child is getting on. Now, if you have got any children who are there, I can see a few who are watching in. What we also do is we have a token system. So children get tokens for doing things if they've done well in class or they've done their homework. I would say, though, tutors don't just give them out. They have to work hard for them. And certainly tutors are willing to give out tokens for things that have gone well, and children then collect them and then can spend them in week 5. And in the week 5, we bring along a huge box of stationery items. There's books, there's all sorts of gadgets. Wonderful Suzanne Perrett, who is a lady who works at our head office, she is very much responsible for all the resourcing and also the goodie boxes. And she will put lots of things in there that I know your children will absolutely love. Lots of educational things, but also some fun little games and things that children can buy with their hard-earned tokens. In their bags, there is a little zipped pocket at the top, and you can always put your tokens in there and then access them on week 5. So a little bit more detail now about the homework and how that is structured at Teach It Right. So each week we will provide homework based on what the children have done. This is layered and it's put into you must tasks and you could tasks. We would ask that children do the you must. That's kind of our minimum expectation. However, we would also ask, if they can, to try and get some of that extra work done as well. And what we've decided to do this year is actually buy in licenses for every child in year 5 to actually go on to the CGP website. Some of you may be familiar with this and you may have come across it before, but there is now an 11 plus online CGP portal. And on there are a series of questions. They are very much limitless. There is so many questions on there, your child will never run out. And what you'll be able to do is access that CGP website using your child's first name, their last name, and your location. So the example there is if you say Louise Pierce as the name and then Burnham as the centre, and that will get you on. The password is generic for everyone, Teach It Right 24@, and that will get you onto the portal. And then your child, I think, can choose a little avatar that they want to have, and then you'll be in. And inside that portal, if we have a look on the next page, you will see all the subjects. So maths, English, non-verbal and verbal reasoning, certainly for the GL pupils. If your child is going for Reading Boys, then actually there is a strong link with a lot of the CEM question types. So the verbal reasoning is like English vocabulary. You don't need to worry about the non-verbal, but you can do the maths as well. And then, of course, the English's comprehension, closed tests will also be very suitable for your child to do. And what we really love about the portal as well is it tracks your child's progress, and they get a series of chances to do lots of different tests. And then what they can do is get stars according to how well they've done. So we do think it's a wonderful platform. I certainly know that over this summer, a number of our pupils have used it and said how great it is. It marks it for the children. They must obviously make sure that they do review it, look over any that they've got wrong. But it's a nice way of seeing how is my child getting on in all the different topic areas, all the different question types. And what I like about it is there are new question types being added all the time. So you'll be very much current in terms of what you're practicing. So in terms of the homework itself, we would actually ask parents to check it for us. We have a number of videos that we are creating currently and putting those onto our student portal. So you'll be able to review them if you want. All the answers will be obviously in the back of the books, but we'd ask you to actually sticker it for us. Now, this is only the you must tasks, and we'd ask you to put a sticker on the book according to how your child has got on. Now, I'm just going to describe this to you as if it was out of 10. So the traffic light system is fairly simple. If you put a green on the book, it means they've got 8 or above, so they've done very well. If they get 5 to 7 right, it's more like an amber or an orange, if you like. And then if they get a red, they've achieved 5 or below. That's fine. And if a child does make lots of mistakes, it's absolutely fine. You mustn't worry about putting a red sticker on the book. It informs us, and this will all be tracked as well within the centres, and it informs us about how the child is getting on. If you do put a blue sticker on their book, this will mean that they haven't done it. And that's fine. If a child doesn't do their homework, it might have some incredibly busy week or lots of activities or tournaments and things, they weren't able to do it, that's fine. But please do put a blue sticker on it, because that then indicates to us exactly what, the fact they haven't been able to do it. We can try and find a way of them catching up. Please could you repeat what you said on how we could use the platform for comprehension? Yes, absolutely, I will. Sorry, just going back to the CGP again, there is under GL assessment and other providers, there is an English comprehension section, and it deals with close and things. So if your child is going for Reading Boys, they will still probably have a comprehension within their exam. You can go on there and practice those English elements. I'm sure once you get onto the portal, it will make sense. It's just the English part is not under CEM, so it's just under GL and other providers. Okay. You will have your own logins, and that will all be provided to you, and all this stuff about how to get on to the portal will all be provided to you. We're lucky enough, I know, tonight to also have our office manager with us, a lady called Annie Nesbitt, who some of you may have spoken to on the phone. She is an incredible individual and keeps a very tight ship within our head office in terms of making sure that you get all the information you need. But please do feel free to contact the office if you're not quite sure about something. One of the things that's very key to us, certainly when we start the course, is that our communication lines are good. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. So there will also be an opportunity for children to record down on their tracker system how they're getting on with the CGP online homework. And there will be 3 attempts at those different question types, and they will marry up with what the children have done in the lessons, and of course how many stars they've got as well. And this will all be explained to the children when they start back with us tomorrow. Just a few other reminders around Homework Club. We are running a Homework Club again. I have been asked a few times actually in these presentations whether we can run them more than once, but fortunately it is a little bit difficult for us. I appreciate there may be a bit of a clash with your child's own lesson, but it is something that is very much not a mandatory thing. It's open for children to drop in, ask questions if they want to. For Reading Boys, that will be on a Monday at 6:30. And then for our Year 5 and Year 4 pupils, 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. If you want your child to come along and do their homework then, they can. They can also ask questions as they go along as well. I think what is important to realise, certainly with the Homework Club, is there's a tutor there and they are willing to go through some of the questions and help and support. But it's also an opportunity to have a bit of quiet time, work through their homework, bit of companionship, other children there. But if they get stuck on a question, they can always unmute themselves, say, oh, I don't get this one. Could you go through it with me? And the tutor will do that. So what we realise is sometimes parents with busy schedules don't always have an opportunity to support their child with things like homework, and we're there to guide you. So we're there to help you with all of that. So just a little bit more about the student portal. We do put our lesson plans on there. So if your child was to miss a lesson, they can always go on the student portal, see what was covered, what content was done. We will also put the videos that go through the homework, and they're going to be really, really beneficial. Not only will we go through the answers, but we'll explain how to do it. And then also you'll be able to find your child's assessment results on the student portal as well. So that will be, again, first name, last name, location, just like the CGP one, and also the password Teach It Right 24 @ If you do have any problems accessing the portal, do get in contact with us. We will ensure that you can get on because it's a useful place for you to go. But we do know, certainly with our feedback being on there for the assessments, that is where you need to go. I think one of the things we've learned over the last few years is we want to reduce down our paper, not printing quite so much. We do still print a lot, but we don't want to be printing, for example, things like feedback forms when actually you can access it easier online. Certainly for our tutors as well, it's been a lot easier process for them to do all the feedback on the computer. How long is the homework club? Well, homework club will be about an hour long, but it very much depends on what support is needed. I know the tutor's more than happy to stay a little bit longer if they need to, but I would say an hour is long enough. And that is via Zoom. Yes, it is via Zoom. You don't need to go via the portal. That will be sent, a link will be sent out to you. So you'll have that. Yeah. Thank you very much for all these questions. As I say, I'll try to answer them as sort of going along, but obviously at the end, if you've got any more, then please do ask. Now, these requests have come from me, but also my staff as well. So just a couple of things, please. Please ensure that your child is there on time. There is nothing more frustrating for the child, the tutor, if they're not there, ready to go. We know traffic can sometimes be horrendous around the centre sometimes, and we totally understand that. You know, there's nothing you can do about that. But if you can ensure that the majority of the time your child is there on time, ready to get going, we value the time with your child. It's so precious to us. We see your child once a week, and we need to ensure that we get the maximum out of those lessons and that time. Please also ensure that your child brings the books every week, and unfortunately be amazed how many children actually sometimes forget to bring their books, but they do need to bring their books along. What we suggest after the block is finished, leave the old books at home so they don't feel too weighed down, and they can leave their previous books at home, and that frees up some space for the new ones that come every block. So every block your child will get new books from us anyway. Don't forget your pencils, of course. Make sure you've got your pencils with you. And also we'd suggest bringing a dictionary as well. We've been asked a few times about that, about what dictionaries are the best. And I obviously suggest the pocket dictionaries, the Oxford ones, the little ones that double up as a thesaurus are perfect for the children. You can get those off Amazon fairly cheaply. Or the Collins ones are very good. Please don't sort of bring in encyclopedias or anything like that, nothing too cumbersome, but a little small dictionary is a good idea. I did mention in my previous presentation to do my little veto test, which is to look up the word veto, and if the word's in there, then it's probably a good dictionary. Children's dictionaries tend not to be good enough. What we tend to find with those is that a child looks a word up and it's actually not there. And there's nothing more frustrating than that. So just ensure that your child has got, a good dictionary. You can always do my little veto test if you want to. Now, you will see on the bottom of that slide about nut-free snacks. It is lovely if children bring a snack and a drink along. It is important in actual fact. You know, you've got to fuel that brain and make sure it is a muscle after all. But we have a number of kids, and we have certainly over the course of Teach It Right, I think that's probably increased in actual fact with nut allergies. So please, please ensure that any snacks that are brought into the centres are nut-free. And we will be very strict around that. As I say, we do have a number of children with nut allergies. So it is very, very important that your child brings in nut-free snacks, please. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide and just talk to you about the enhanced course. Now, a number of you are on the enhanced course, which is brilliant. And just to explain that our monster quizzes, and we've been running those actually over the summer, they are so much fun. The kids will love those. And we are commencing those from the 30th of September. They will be weekly and there'll be 30 of them. They won't run, of course, in the holiday periods, but, the summer they will be. They'll be different from those ones. And this is an opportunity for children to come along, build up their vocabulary and just have a lot of fun, but learning at the same time. We will also be doing our monthly book club from the 6th of October. That will be run by Louise Swan. Some of you may have had the privilege really of having Louise Swan as one of your tutors. She will be running that monthly, and hopefully your child gets an opportunity to join in with that. And then in February half term, and this will be a new thing for Teach It Right, we are actually going to be running a mock exam. Now, most of our mocks happen at Easter and over the summer holidays, but we've made a decision for this year to actually, as part of the enhanced course, if you're part of that, to take part in a mock exam over February half term. And this will give you an indication of how your child's getting on under sort of very formal conditions in terms of exam conditions, and understanding exactly what the exam involves. So if you are part of the enhanced course, wonderful. Look forward to having you hopefully along over half term to take part in that. If you are thinking that that sounds wonderful and all these things sound great, and you would like to be upgraded onto that enhanced course because you're not already on it, please just let the office know. You can do that via email, info@teachitright.com. So if you would like to participate in the enhanced course, all of those things, as I say, I think are going to be great and really, really do exactly what the course suggests: enhance your child's knowledge. And just a little bit more, just to mention that most of our communication, of course, is done via email. We do send out lots of information. Please ensure that you are you've added Teach It Right as a safe sender. Sometimes when we first sort of communicate with you, sometimes our emails go into your junk mail. Just please inform the office if you're not receiving emails, certainly in the next few weeks. If you haven't had anything, that's because there's obviously a problem either with the email address, or for whatever reason you're not getting it. Because as we go through the year, we'll be informing you about parent workshops. The parent workshops will go through all the different question types, tell you how to support your child. We absolutely love doing those and hope you are able to participate in those as well. Revision camps, mock exams. We also do masterclasses throughout the year. They are a really good opportunity for your child to boost their knowledge. We did masterclasses over the pandemic, but we've carried those right the way through. And I know this year they were pretty much all full. And it really was incredibly beneficial for your child to do those, particularly on the topics they find a little bit more difficult, but to sort of bolt on to the course. They generally run on a Wednesday over Zoom, but we'll send out more information about that. And also, so you know a little bit more via our social media channels as well. So make sure, please, you're getting the emails from us. That's really, really important. Will the February half-term mock exam be during the week or at the weekend? Good question. Very good question. I don't know actually yet. Probably a Saturday, just because that's when we tend to do our mocks. But we will let you know. I don't know exactly yet. It does depend on the locations, whether they can accommodate us, but we will let you know as soon as we know. What we tend to do with our mock exams anyway is get those dates out before Christmas. So at least you can plan if you're going away for a summer holiday or you're doing things. We will let you know before Christmas what dates we have set. We do need a little bit of time just to get in contact with the locations and generally the letting agents as well, just to ensure we can get in there. But bear with us while we do sort of compile those dates, and then you can get them in your diary ready for hopefully the holiday period. I'd like to thank you very much for your time this evening. I hope you found it useful. I certainly know I've given you quite a lot of information, and appreciate that some of you may also have some further questions for me as well. So if you do have any other questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Just having a look in the chat now, just to make sure I cover it. When should the child start doing past papers? And again, brilliant question. We tend to suggest really that past papers are not done until really the end of the course, sort of block 5 and block 6. And that's when we start to do mainly sort of past papers and things. I think what is important to realise, it's about the subject knowledge initially. It's about building up their understanding of the question types, how to approach them. And you don't want to be testing children too early. There's no benefit to that, because if you start testing children too early, they may not know what to do, which can be very off-putting. And you don't want to sort of switch them off the process. And I believe that subject knowledge comes first. I've heard of people doing tests sort of from September, and actually it can be quite demoralizing for the child, because they don't know exactly what they're doing and they don't apply the right strategies. So wait, hold off. There will be plenty of opportunity to do mock tests and test practice, but the initial thing of the course is always about developing their understanding first. How often will children practice working across question booklets and answer sheets so they're familiar with working in this way, which can take some practice? Again, a wonderful question. And again, when we get round to block 5 and 6, we do start introducing the multiple choice sheets more. And transferring answers across. There are some slightly different ways of doing that, particularly if you're looking at Reading Boys against GL assessment, but we will be going through all that with the children later on within the course. There will always be some times where those kind of things crop up that we go, oh, when you do your answers, you do them on a separate sheet and talk them through that, because I do totally agree that that is very much part of what the children have to do. So that will certainly come. How should one spend summer holidays? How much repetition is recommended? Now, again, that's quite a big question, to be honest, in terms of the summer holidays. And what we will do, we do various workshops where we'll talk to you about how to plan the summer, what's a good way of structuring it. So as we go through the course, we'll do our parent workshops and tell you all those different things. So I'm going to hold off, if that's okay, from answering that for the moment. When someone's asked about will there be a review of the mock exam, well, there's a very, very detailed review videos which go with the mock exam. So you better watch those, see all the answers. And what you also get is a very detailed report which outlines how your child has done in each of those topic areas. We use an optical reader which scans all the results. This is probably the most advanced way of doing mock exams now, but also that is incredibly detailed in terms of the mock exam review. And the videos are great because it enables you to watch them back and see what all the answers are. Annie, I can see you still in the office, which is very naughty of you, really, because you shouldn't still be there. But is there anything you think I've missed or you would like to mention to the parents while we've got some ears here?
Just really to say that we are here Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call. It is busy at the moment, as you can probably appreciate. But do email us into the support box as well. You may have some questions. We will try to answer those as quickly as we can. We do get asked varying questions. And we're always happy to answer them, even if we do have to get back to you on some of them. But just echoing a lot of what Chris has said, you know, we are always here to help. That's what we do. So any questions, please give us a call.
Annie, thank you very much indeed. And make sure you get yourself off home. Nikki, I didn't know also if there was anything from you that you felt that we needed to remind the families about, or anything that jumped into your mind.
No, you've covered pretty much everything, I think. Just to say, yeah, that obviously I'm a sort of, when I remember to centre, you know, you can come and see me and ask absolutely anything, and similarly I'll do my best to answer and sort of be a means of communication between, you know, the school and the office and the tutors. So yeah, just please, you know, don't be shy, come and ask absolutely anything. And you know, do come and introduce yourselves, because as Chris said, it's really important that you sort of come and say hello, so we know who you are at the start of each lesson, so that if I've got a concern I want to raise, then I know which parent I'm talking to. And it just, yeah, just nice really to get to know everybody, because that's really important, I think. And yeah, please, you know, ask absolutely anything. Looking forward to meeting everyone.
We are absolutely very much looking forward to meeting our families. I know from tomorrow onwards and all of next week. Just a couple of other questions that have been asked just while we've been chatting. Someone said, is the Year 5 new sign up this year the enhanced course? Well, it is if you've told us that you'd like to be on the enhanced course. So if that's something you're not on, just let us know. We can always upgrade you to that. Is one tutor for the duration of the programme? Now, I think that's a really good question. And what I am certainly all about in terms of the team that we have is about continuity. It is important that we have the same tutor there, bar sort of illness and anything else, we have kept a very consistent team over the last, well, ever since we've sort of been running Teach It Right, to be honest. That very rarely do we lose any tutors, and if we do, it's not for any bad reason at all. So you will, yeah, hopefully be seeing the same tutor right the way through. If that does, if we have a tutor change, of course, we'll try and make sure that transition is as smooth as possible. But generally, you will hopefully see the same person every single week. I will just mention, well, a number of you are here. We do actually have a couple of, or a tutor with COVID, in actual fact. So they won't be able to be with us tomorrow, but hopefully they get well soon and will be back with us. So who supplies the book for the book club? Oh, again, a good question. It's something that the tutor chooses. And I know Louise Swan, who runs it, she's got so many books that she's read with children at school or can suggest. But it can also come from the children a little bit as well, I expect, that they may have a book that they'd like to share with the group. And I'm sure we'll think about that and the structure of that book club as we go along. Can you remind me about group sizes? I may have missed this earlier. Yeah, we have a maximum of about 12 in the class. We will never go sort of beyond that number. Generally, the classes are around 10, but sometimes we do have a few more, but we will never, ever have those class sizes very big. I think it's all about getting to know your children. Do we buy the book? No, the books are all provided right the way through the course. Yeah, right the way through the course. Guys, thank you very much indeed. I am going to sort of hit the stop button on the record. We will send this link out to you so you're able to watch it back. And thank you very much for coming along. And yeah, can't wait to meet you and get started. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming this evening. Thanks for the clapping, Kerry. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye-bye. See you soon.